This is a public service announcement. This problem is asking you to find equivalent expressions. So you should be using your notes on the left side of, I think, page 31, near your order of operations notes. This reminds you how to use substitution to solve for equivalency between expressions. You should also be using your throw-up sheet. On the middle of the right side of your formula page, you'll see a reminder of how to use substitution to test for equivalency between expressions. All right, this problem says Regina writes the expression y plus 9 times 3/4. Which expression is equivalent or completely equal to the one Regina writes? Okay, so they give you a few different options and then say none of these. I'm going to warn you, if you see an option that says none of these, you need to check each of them probably twice to completely rule them out before you choose this. More often than not, you will have an actual answer, okay? But just to be safe, if you really can't find one, recheck your math on each of your work and then choose. But you really usually will have an actual answer. Okay, to solve for equivalencies, a lot of my students have picked up on, you can just see what order you would solve this in, okay, and what order you would solve these expressions in, and find the one where the order doesn't change, and how it's rewritten won't change how it's solved. But if you're not sure, and even if you do use that and you think, oh, it's maybe this one or this one, you still need to go solve using substitution. Okay. You might also note that they have 3 divided by 4 instead of 3/4. Okay, let me remind you that fractions are little tiny division problems. Okay. Whenever we get decimals, we do numerator divided by denominator, and that's written 3 divided by 4. Okay, we write it 3 inside, 4 outside. Whenever you have division, you can either write it as a fraction. The numerator either comes on top, it comes first in the division problem, or it comes inside the house. All right, those are the 3 places for your numerator and the ways you can write division. All right. Which expression is equivalent to the one that she wrote? So we're going to use substitution to for sure test which ones are equivalent. And by that, I mean, we're just going to say that y equals 2. All right, so if y equals 2, then this is now 2 plus 9 times 3/4. Okay. And then we're going to go through and solve. And then you'll need to do the exact same thing for each of your answer choices. Okay. Using GMDOS, we know that to solve expressions, we need to do groups first. There's no groups, there's no exponents, then multiply or divide from left to right. So the first thing we need to do is that 9 times 3/4. Okay, so I'm going to rewrite that as 9 over 1 times 3 over 4. Okay, because remember, multiplying by a fraction, that whole number also needs to be a fraction. All right. I see nothing that can simplify up and down or in our corners diagonally. So I'm just going to multiply. 9 times 3 gives me 27. And then it ends up over 4. Okay. If I simplify this, I need to pull out all of the wholes possible of this fraction. Okay, so how many 4s can I pull out of 27? Right? I can pull out 6 of them without going over, because 6 times 4 is 24. Okay, so if I pull out 24, 27 minus 24 leaves me with 3/4. All right, so now I have 2 plus 6 and 3/4. All right, 2 plus 6 and 3/4. All right, I'm going to go ahead and make this a decimal just to make it even easier. 6 and 3/4, I know that 3/4 is equal to 0.75, so this is really 6 and 75 hundredths. So 2 plus 6 and 75 hundredths, remember when we add decimals we have to line them up, is 8 and 75 hundredths. Okay, so we're looking for a problem over here that is equivalent to 8 and 75 hundredths. Okay. So when you go through and solve, you're going to need to substitute 2 for each of these y's. So I'm going to say the first one is 9 times 3 divided by 4, and then plus substitute 2 for y plus 2. Okay, you'll need to solve your group. Okay, multiply or divide from left to right. So 9 times 3 first, then divide it by 4. Okay, and then that whole thing plus 2. You're going to do the same for each of them. Okay, you need to go rewrite it with 2 subbed in place of your y, and then solve the expressions using GEMDAS. Okay, so you need to go ahead and finish each of these and determine if they come out equivalent to 8.75. Only one of them should. Okay, if none of them do, remember you need to go back and double check your math and then continue. Yes, when you do 9 times 3, you'll get 27, and 27 is not evenly divided by 4. We found that out over here. Okay, so remember, you'll be working with decimals when you solve these. If you get stuck, use your notes for help.